Okay guys, so today I'm going to be had one number 10 can of crushed tomatoes, and 2 number 10 cans of tomato puree, which I'll be recanning into smaller jars. Had to redo this intro because my husband was mowing the backyard while I was trying to do the first one, and the sound was just too bad, so I figured I would tell you what I was doing, and most of the video's okay, so we should be fine from there. But anyway, that's what I'm doing, recanning into jars like this so that we will have it on the shelf. I'm sorry, my husband is mowing the backyard. We have all the doors closed, but it's still kind of loud, so I'm sorry about that. Alright, the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put these crushed tomatoes in now, since there's 7 jars. That's one layer on the bottom, so that I don't get them mixed up with the tomato puree. It's just by looking at it, it's hard to tell the difference. That way I can get those out of the canner and labeled and not get them mixed up. Okay, I'm going to wipe these rims with vinegar. Make sure there's no food product on the rims. And I am going to be using my Tattlers again today, because this is another product that we will use for ourselves. It won't be given away or sold or anything along those lines. I have my flats and the rubber pieces sitting in hot water, not boiling, but hot water, just to soften the rubber seals just a little bit to make them seal easier. This one doesn't want to tighten. Let's try a different ring. Well, that one's sealed. Let's hope the jar seals. since I have one space left in my canner, I'm just going to put an empty jar in there that will have water in it to keep the jars from falling over while they're boiling. And I'm putting just enough water to go 1 to 2 inches above the top of the jars. Alright, now while those are going, go ahead and get these filled. Now this is tomato puree, which means the consistency is kind of halfway between a tomato sauce and a tomato paste. It's a very thick tomato sauce, which I like to have because sometimes you want to add more tomato bulk without making your food, whatever it is that you're making, more liquidy or juicier. So sometimes I like to have this just to have a thick sauce to put in. Now if you wanted this to just be tomato sauce, you could take this and mix it with what, depending on your consistency, but you know, half a can to a full can of water and mix it all together and then put it in your jars, and it would be more like a tomato sauce. Because this is thicker, I'm going to go ahead and do this now to get the air bubbles out so that I can tell how much space I actually have. As a matter of fact, I think, and I'll go ahead and leave that one, but I think I'm going to put the tomato puree in the smaller jars and then go ahead and add water and make the rest into more of a tomato sauce. Because when it's that thick, you're probably not going to need a whole pint for whatever you're making. So let's try that. This is one of those deals where I really didn't plant enough tomatoes for putting up, making my own tomato sauce and such. And I really didn't think I was going to need any more because I had plenty from last year. But we started using a lot of it. Now I'm afraid I'm not going to have enough, so I happened to find these, picked these up for $2.99 a can. Figured I can't even grow it for that. So I figured I would just do it this way, and then I can still make whatever I want out of the jars when I open them, turn it into some Mexican style or Italian or whatever it is I'm doing. I'm just going to add a little at a time because I don't want to get it too thin. I think that's about where I want it. So it seems like this was about half as much water as there was tomato puree. So if you have a half a can, then you would add about 1/4 of a can of water. And again, it depends on what you like for consistency. So This is still just kind of like a thick tomato sauce, which is the way I like it. Now the only problem I have is I had it calculated for the number of jars I needed, and now I'm going to need more jars, so I may have to stop in the middle of this and go find some more jars. Alright, my funnel, I do reuse some store-bought jars, and my funnel doesn't fit inside these couple of small ones, so I'm just going to dump them in this way, and then I'll rinse this jar out and refill it. So as you can see, this one was a jelly jar. This one was pickle relish. This one was case picante sauce. And this one was also pickle relish. Alright, I set the timer for the crushed tomatoes, so going for 15 minutes. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do the second pot, because even though those are almost done, I do not want to drop these down into boiling water, because these are all room temperature. I don't want to take a chance on the jars breaking. So I'm going to start that one at room temperature, and I will probably add a little bit of the hot water just to get it going, but I'll need the hot water for something later anyway. So okay, so the timer has gone off on the first batch of the crushed tomatoes, so, and then I turned the burner off and I let them sit for about 10 minutes, and now I'm going to pull them out and we'll see what they look like. Alright, we're getting ready to take the last batch of the tomato sauce out of the canner. And that batch was actually the puree that we did before we thinned it out. So we ended up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 pints of the crushed tomatoes. That's what you get out of a number 10 can. Then we ended up with 1 pint and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half pints of the what would be a tomato paste, a thicker tomato sauce. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pints and about 5 half pints ish of tomato sauce. So that was 3 number 10 cans altogether. If you made it this far in the video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel and you'll be notified when new videos are posted. Anyway, have a good day.